Welcome to Beyond the Quantum Biopharma Lawsuit, an exclusive video series production of AGORACOM, in which we speak to multiple investors who have suffered financial and emotional losses stemming from a $700 million lawsuit filed by Quantum Biopharma, alleging that CIBC World Markets, RBC Dominion Securities, and others engaged in market manipulation in the share price of the biopharmaceutical company that was once valued at nearly $1 billion. In this exclusive series, Quantum Biopharma, which was previously known as FSD Pharma and traded under the symbol HUGE, HUGE, has invited shareholders to come forward to share their personal stories with their fellow investors in order to help build an even stronger case, as well as encourage others to step forward. And today, we're happy to welcome to AGORACOM.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here. We know from talking to other shareholders, this has been a difficult ordeal for you and others. So I personally applaud you for the courage to share your story with us in the world. First question for you. Tell us why you first started investing in the company and how optimistic you felt about its prospects in your investment.
Well, I started investing in the company. I started looking at the company a couple of years prior to investing in the company. What put me under pressure to invest was when we came up with Unbuzzed, and they were allotting a dividend share as an additional value add to the shareholder. So I decided that was the appropriate time to buy it prior to the dividend. So about a month before, I made an investment into FSD Pharma, HUGE, which later changed to Quantum.
And how are you feeling about the time? You had a certain optimism, an outlook, like a 2 to 3 year outlook. How were you viewing it at that time?
Well, I was looking at it, frankly, at a 2 to 3 year outlook. I looked really, I was really interested in the stuff they were doing with MS, which is really personal to me.
Yeah.
Why is MS personal to me? When I was about 8 years old, my mother was diagnosed with MS, and she had a very severe form of MS. This is when I was out living in California, and she had a very severe form where she became a vegetable within 6 months and did not know my name after that, and that she was on her deathbed for an additional 8 or 9 years. So after I got married later in life, and that was obviously a tough time for me as a kid growing up. My wife got diagnosed with MS. So I had a strong belief in what they were doing on the frontiers of the MS world. So when Unbuzz came along, I said, great, I know how pharmaceutical companies work. There's a lot of trials. It takes a long time to go to market, generate revenue. I figured Unbuzz was one of those things would give this company a lot of cash to enable to invest into these drug phase trials. So I was very confident in the company, and therefore I was following it for a couple of years. So
did you often find yourself at that point, because they're progressing, moving along? Obviously, you understand the progress of these kind of companies. Did you find yourself starting to get a little confused, maybe perplexed, or even frustrated about how the stock price just continued to be mostly in a downward trajectory?
Right. So when they were launching, we're about to launch, I guess, start giving the dividend on Buzz. I think it was pretty much at the peak prior. I mean, I know they had about $1 billion market cap, and it crashed over time. And then, but when I bought it, it was trading at around $2, $1.80 to $2.10. I invested about $250,000, $230,000 to be exact, approximately around there. And so I decided that, okay, this is the right time, because I would get the value added advantage of the dividend share from Unbuzz. Now, obviously, the stock has never gone up since then. It's been on a downward trajectory since then. I don't think I've seen an up week, frankly. That 230 to 230K approximately is now turned into I've lost about 90% of my capital.
What was your reaction? So you're probably at this point wondering, hey, what's going on? What was your reaction to the lawsuit filed by Quantum Biopharma and the allegations made in that lawsuit about stock manipulation?
Well, I think stock manipulation and things that have happened to HUGE or Quantum has been happening in the Canadian markets for a long time. I think Canadian markets are largely unregulated compared to other stricter markets. And I think it's right for people to take advantage of these situations. I just don't understand, under the positive news, how stock keeps dropping and people are allowed to do that. But I think it's a difficult battle to prove. I don't know where the case goes from here. I'm a little skeptical, although I feel that we're right, and I think a statement needs to be made, because I'm sure this is not the only company this is happening to. But I think it's positive that someone's taking a step forward.
Yeah, and look, we all credit Zishan and the team for making that great step. Did you, how did you feel that allegedly, two major banks may have been involved in this as part of all this? How did that, how did that make you feel?
Well, it gets there's anger, disheartened. Uh, I'm scared to invest in the Canadian markets today, where I feel that when you have such strong belief in a product and it's something that's so personally held to my heart, that would take risks that I find the public information or whatever is lacking in the Canadian markets. Because all I've seen is actually positive news. So I'm just dumbfounded about why the stock is falling. I don't understand.
So you've told us about your financial losses. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I think a lot of shareholders are going to be sorry to hear that. Percentage-wise, a lot of shareholders have obviously suffered the same fate from a quantity point of view. I think you may be the biggest one we've had so far. In addition to the financial losses, what kind of, and this may be the hardest part, but please share with us maybe the personal toll that this has taken on your life, and to know that it came from allegedly this kind of activity.
Frankly, we've been living around all around the world. I moved back to Canada since I was 7 years old, and we moved back here. I moved here back with my wife, who is German, and she's the one diagnosed with MS, and she had gotten this money, and the only thing she'd actually requested me to do is not put it in the stock market, because she had inherited it from her father, and about 250K. Out of that, I decided, because MS was so close to us, that I would do it, and I frankly haven't told her that we've made these losses, because it would trigger.
Wow.
It could trigger her MS. She's been a little up and down lately over the last 6 months, and I don't want to trigger another episode. So that's something that I've withheld about the losses, but she is aware of the investment. Right? I've not decided to divulge that, because I'm hoping there's a return maybe at some point, and that I won't have to. But because of her MS, I don't want to divulge it to her at this moment, because of the way she's been feeling lately.
Yeah, and that's an ongoing personal toll right there that you have to.
Yeah, secret that I want to keep. It's just something I don't want to trigger.
Right? Sam, thank you so much for sharing your story. And here's my hope, that we have you back one day in the near future to discuss a successful outcome of this lawsuit, a successful outcome for the company, for the shareholders in general, and specifically for shareholders like you who have suffered specific damages. But in the meantime, I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, George,
and sharing your story. It means a lot to everybody.
And thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The information discussed in this interview pertains to allegations that have been made in a legal filing. These allegations have not been proven in court, and all parties are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. This content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal or investment advice.
Smash that like button, drop us a comment, and share it to fire up that engagement algo so other investors can discover this company.